Okay, thanks for joining us. This is story time. We're going to do a pocket full of kisses with Albert and Betty. Earl is somewhere, not sure where. Chester Raccoon sat in the hollow of a tree stump and pouted. "Please, can we give him back?" he asked his mother. "I'll be really, really good if we can give him back." And I'm pretty sure this is what Albert says about Betty. Not that it looks like it now, but I promise. Mrs. Raccoon smiled tenderly. "You're already really, really good, Chester, but I'm afraid no matter how good you are, we can't give him back. Besides, I thought you liked having a little brother." "I did like it at first," admitted Chester, "but now he plays with my toys, swings on my swing, reads my books, then he pulls my tail, talks to my friends, follows me everywhere I go." Mrs. Raccoon lifted Chester onto her lap, smoothed out his worried, furry forehead. "That's what little brothers do," she explained, in a very motherly tone. "It's no different than sharing the woods, or sharing the stream, or sharing the food we find. Ronnie wants to be just like you." Mrs. Raccoon placed Chester on the ground, smiled at him with the soft, loving eyes he knew so well. "I think someone needs a kissing hand," she said in a voice that was warm and inviting. She took Chester's hand in her own, spread open his tiny fingers into a fan. Leaning over, she kissed him right in the middle of his palm. Chester felt the warmth of that kiss rush from his hand up his arm and into his heart. And when he pressed his hand to his cheek, he could hear his mother's words in his head. "Mommy loves you," they said. "Mommy loves you." Chester grinned so wide, the tips of his silky black mask crinkled upward. Even his cheeks flushed to a primrose pink. He was the happiest raccoon in the forest. Then, in the blink of a moment, all the joy went out of the little raccoon. His pink cheeks paled, and a stream of tiny hot tears felt like spring rain down his sad little face. Even his silky black mask dropped as he watched his mother reach down and take Ronnie's hand in her own, open his tiny fingers into a fan, and kiss his brother right in the middle of his palm. "That was my kissing hand," Chester gasped in the saddest voice his mother had ever heard. "Why did you give Ronnie my kissing hand? Don't you love me anymore?" "Oh, Chester," cried Mrs. Raccoon, "of course I love you." "Then how come you gave the baby my kissing hand?" asked Chester. Mrs. Raccoon gathered Chester up in her arms, gave him a great big comforting hug. "I would never give Ronnie your kissing hand," she assured him gently. "That was his kissing hand. Now you each have your own." Chester wiped away his tears, settled in his mother's lap. "If you give both of us kissing hands, won't you run out?" Mrs. Raccoon laughed. "Would you like to hear a story?" She asked Chester. "How about kisses? How about stars?" Every night, just before the sun goes down, it reaches out with its rays, touches every star in the universe. One by one, the stars light up, shine down upon us. Even on nights we can't see the stars. They're up there sparkling away. No matter how many stars fill the sky, the sun will never run out of light, and its rays will never stop reaching out to them. That's the way it is with kissing hands. When someone loves you, their kisses are like sun's rays, always there, always shining. No matter how many kissing hands I give you and Ronnie, I will never, ever run out. But you were right about one thing, Mrs. Raccoon said to Chester. Ronnie's big brother widened his eyes, looked surprised. What's that? He asked his mother. You are the big brother, and that deserves something extra special. Mrs. Raccoon put Ronnie on a swing, took Chester's right hand in hers, spread open his tiny little fingers into a fan. Leaning over, she kissed him right in the middle of his palm. That kiss is for your pocket, she told him. Take good care of it. Keep it as a spare. You never know when a big brother might need a little extra care. Chester hugged his mother, romped away. I love you too, he seemed to say.